Tree swallows are super fast, erratic moving birds that can be a whole lot of fun to capture. Over the last 2 years, I've been coming to this spot to photograph these nesting boxes that the park sets up that's relatively close to my house. Now my process, because these guys move super fast and their flight patterns are so erratic, what I like to do in order to get flight shots is I find a nesting area, a box or a gourd, and I'll frame that box off to one side of my frame, giving plenty of room for the bird to fly in. And I actually focus on that box, and I'll watch as the birds circle around, and you can tell which bird is getting ready to come into that nest to either bring nesting materials or food to their young. Once you're around these guys for a little while, you get used to their habits and their patterns, and you can tell which one's getting ready to come to which box. And as I'm looking with my eyes, noticing that one's hovering, getting ready to bring that material or food back to the nest, I'll then come to my camera and I'll get ready and be able to fire off a bunch of shots just before they enter the frame. Now I'm using the Canon R5 along with the 100 to 500 RF, and I'm in electronic shutter mode, so that gives me 20 frames per second, which is going to be really important for these fast moving birds. I'm also shooting in C-RAW so that my buffer doesn't fill up too much. So once I can tell that that bird is getting pretty close, I just start shooting and I capture hopefully quite a few shots of that process of them coming into my frame, and hopefully I'm focused in a spot where their flight is going to be part of that focus point and they're going to be nice and sharp. So I've been here at this spot documenting this process of the male and the female building a nest. They work together to bring materials back to their nesting spot. Then the eggs are laid and the incubation period is about 2 weeks. Once the eggs hatch, the nestlings are in the nest for about 3 weeks. And again, it's a furious period where the male and the female are bringing food continuously back to the nest to feed their hungry birds. And we're nearing the point where this activity is just about all over. And I thought that I would come here again today to try to capture some shots and share the process with you. A lot of my shots end up being almost like side shots, and I kind of wanted to give something else a try today. I want to get a front-facing flight shot, so the bird's coming at me. Now that's going to be super difficult to do because these guys are moving so quickly, and the problem with this is going to be that the box, I'm not going to be able to focus on it anymore. I'm going to have to actually focus on the bird coming towards me. Now, something that I consider too as I'm setting up these shots is what is my background going to look like? So anytime you're photographing wildlife, that's something that you want to think about. You almost have to plan, like, to look through your subject to make sure that that background is not going to be too distracting. Now, in this area that I'm at today, there's just a bunch of tree cover. Now, I want to be careful that I'm not shooting like above the trees, but that I'm shooting straight towards the trees. There's like a bright area and then there's some dark areas too, so I might play around with that a little bit and see what works best to try to capture these birds as they're coming at me. We're definitely going to be giving the Canon R5 focusing system a workout today. So you might not be able to tell where I'm at right now. I'm on a hill and the box is right over here and it slopes down. So to be eye level with that box where the birds are going to be coming in at, I have to stand on this slope, which is actually kind of good because they know I'm here obviously, but it conceals me a little bit. Doesn't seem like I'm like right on top of where they're at. And I am zoomed in, but I don't want to zoom in too much actually, because I want to leave myself some room to be able to track the bird. This is not going to be easy at all. So what happens a lot is you're waiting and waiting and waiting for that moment when these birds might come in. And usually what happens is there's a flurry of activity and then there's some dead time while they go. A lot of times what they're doing is they're catching flies. They're really good at doing that, so they'll catch a fly in the air and they'll bring it back to the nest. So I think one thing that's happening here is this autofocusing system works with contrast, and I have a dark background and I don't think that it's working real well with tracking the bird because of the dark background and the dark wings of the bird. So I think I need to find another spot here for the background where it might be a little bit brighter. Okay, so I think I have a slightly brighter background. So it's just basically going to be a matter of being able to track them in. Here comes one. Jeez, these guys are so fast. I missed them again. Yeah, this just isn't working. Just thinking here, what I might try is change my autofocusing case. So typically I use case 1, just what I stick with most of the time. But I think I might try case 4 for fast moving subjects. So this is with the Canon system. So let's give that a try. I can't follow. I think maybe the tripod in this case might be slowing me down. Maybe going off the tripod, it'll give me more flexibility. All right, here we go, here comes one. There it is. There it is. I think we got it. I think sometimes in wildlife photography, we get complacent, we know what works, we know what's easy, and we don't want to push the boundaries because you might miss the shot. That's the advantage of shooting local. You're able to visit the same spot, the same species over and over, see them in different ways, different weather, different light, and you're able to try different things. I'm so glad that I had the chance to try this other angle to see if I could get it done. And I failed so many times. This is a short YouTube video. If I kept in all of the footage, all of the time of myself failing, I failed 99 times, but I didn't give up. I tried different settings. I tried different ways to try to capture this shot until I finally got it right. And it meant using settings that I don't normally use, but that's what it took. So being here local where I was able to slow down and not rush and overthink things and just try to get that safety shot, it was awesome to be able to have that clear mind and to be able to think about what might work. I failed so many times, but I don't have to show people those failures. I'm only going to show you guys the things that worked out. Don't be afraid to fail. Keep pushing the envelope. Get out there and shoot, and I'll see you in the next video.